Welcome back to Takeout. Nancy Mace, South Carolina Republican representative, was one of the first in Congress to break rank with President Trump over the Epstein files. Congresswoman Mace joins me now. It's good to have you with us. You're coming to us from a car parked somewhere in the Washington, D.C. area. It's good to see you. I'd like you to give me your evaluation of what has happened thus far with the release of the Epstein files. Is it in concert with the law, and is the Justice Department doing enough to pursue those who might be accomplices?
Well, number one, my understanding is that not every document has been released. So, no, it is not to the letter of the law. That being said, as a survivor, I do want to make sure that we are protecting survivors and redacting their names, but that doesn't mean we redact entire documents so that they are worthless. That's one of the problems that we're seeing in these document releases. And so far, only one accomplice, Maxwell, has gone to prison. And you can't tell me with over 1,000 victims here that nobody else should be going to jail. But unfortunately, if you're rich or you're powerful or you're famous, you're above the law. That's what we're telling the American people by not going after those that were part of this sex trafficking ring.
How disturbed are you that identities of survivors and victims are in the most recent document release on Friday? We had an attorney, Spencer Kuvan, on just a few moments ago saying this has happened in ways that it simply should not have happened. Those names should have, and under the law, are required to be redacted, and yet they're part of the public record now.
Yes, they are. And they had a list of names, and I was working with the DOJ and working with victims to ensure that their names were redacted. This was a grave concern of victims prior to the release of the material. It is disturbing. I've worked with a lot of victims over the years. When judges release their names and make them public, it is humiliating, it is embarrassing, it is terrifying, and it's re-traumatizing for those who survived this nightmare.
Is it incompetent?
Well, I think that's part of it. I mean, I think that when you release this kind of information, it's devastating for the victims. And I can't imagine, again, I'm working with victims today where judges in South Carolina don't allow them to move forward as Jane Doe, and then they're humiliated, embarrassed, and re traumatized. This is a deeply traumatizing experience for victims when they're outed like this.
And what, as a member of Congress, could you do to prod or require the Justice Department to do more to live up to the letter of the law?
Well, we will have the Department of Justice both in the Judiciary and in the House Oversight Committee, of which I reside on, this month. And I plan to ask some pretty tough questions to get to the bottom of this. The American people deserve the truth, and they're going to get it.
Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie have suggested if they don't get full compliance, that some significant people within the Justice Department could be held in contempt. Would you agree to that?
I would, and I'm the kind of person who I've held members of both parties to the letter of the law. I would do that in this case because it's wholly unfair. We want to give hope to the American people. We want to give hope to women and girls everywhere that if someone hurts you, they're going to go to jail. And that has not happened yet because these are rich and powerful and famous people. And it's up to us, leaders who are willing to have the courage to stick their neck out on the line and do this for these victims.
I want to ask you about a New York Magazine piece that appeared today under this headline: Nancy Mace
Of
is not
course.
okay. I'll read you one quote from it. One person
Okay.
close to Mace recalled the way Bill Maher described meeting Trump for the first time. In this person's experience, Mace was not a crazy person, but someone who played one on TV. 5 years in, however, it's unclear if Mace actually knows the difference between the two. Do you?
Oh, of course. I mean, look, I'm someone who's outspoken. You don't have mainstream media come after people who toe the line. They come after people who don't conform to what is you're supposed to be doing or to the establishment. I don't do that. I've been working with folks for a long time, and no, I'm not okay. I see pedophiles in South Carolina that get less than a day in jail. You see predators walk free in the Epstein case. You see murderers not get any jail time. You see rapists walk free. That kind of thing. It's upsetting to see that. And I've been working with victims for years now, and I want to fix the broken system, both at the federal level, but it's also why I'm running for governor. The system is broken in South Carolina, too. And I've been working with children. I've been working with families of murder victims. I've been working with sexual assault victims. Every day, my office gets called by someone who's lost hope. And I'm trying to give hope to the hopeless, a voice to the voiceless, and I'm working very hard in doing so. And if that means I get attacked, sign me up. I'm here for it.
The piece also says you can't keep a chief of staff, you can't keep a campaign manager, you've lost your relationship with President Trump, and you're plummeting in the polls to be the Republican nominee for South Carolina governor.
Well, none of that's true, actually. I have a great relationship with the president. I actually shared with New York Magazine the org chart. I don't have a chief of staff. I never will have a chief of staff again. I run a very flat operation, much like a business would. We have KPIs, key performance indicators. I run one of the most efficient offices in Congress. I don't pay high paid consultants to give bad advice either in the political world. I don't have consultants, so to speak. I run my operation the way I want to, which is the way voters want or constituents want. I listen to the people and nobody else. And I'm really proud of that operation. It's why I've won resoundingly. It's why, actually, Major, that I'm ahead in every legitimate poll in the governor's race.
The implication of the piece is that your advocacy for yourself and other sexual abuse victims has created a kind of unhinged mentality where you're not as stable as you need to be or as predictable as people want you to be. I want to give you an opportunity, Congresswoman, to address that.
Well, I think that's one of the challenges that women find when they come forward. If they come forward and you tell the truth, you're usually you are usually in the press depicted as crazy. But I'll have to tell you, working hard for myself or the other victims I've been working with the last couple of years I've never been more proud of the work that we've done. I saw a wife beater get thrown in jail this summer and without bond or without bail. Without that kind of advocacy that I've done, I'm seeing a murder investigation be revisited in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because of the advocacy that I've done. I've had people released from jail because their First Amendment rights were trampled on, they were arrested. But because I spoke up, they were released. And so I love the work that we're doing. And I think it goes to show that the establishment is scared that we will be governor, because the times of doing it like it's always been done doesn't work for most people, and certainly not for South Carolina, which is why we're ahead in the polls.
Nancy Mace, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.